So it's hard to believe that everything started with this book, and that now we have a boat tour company and a photography business and a whole retail line that just started from this cute, adorable little sand dollar. I never thought when I was writing this that it would turn into what it has. I really just wanted people to stop taking sand dollars. But yeah, Sammy, he's brought us a long way. It's pretty cute. Look at him. I'm giving his hugs. So cute. It's adorable. Oh wow, this is my proof. That's pretty cool. I didn't know I had that. Oh wow. This is my very first proof. Oh wow. That's actually really cool. So my role at Mermaid of Hilton Head is I'm the co-founder and the creative director. I kind of do all of the creative, fun marketing stuff, and I do some graphic design work. I design our ads and do animation and write books and things. So we started Mermaid of Hilton Head because I had the idea that I wanted to educate people about our wildlife here in Hilton Head, and I wanted to figure out a creative way to do that would reach people who aren't necessarily looking to be educated about wildlife. So my first idea was to run a boat tour with an animatronic dolphin and have the dolphin swim up to the boat and talk to the kids and the adults about ocean conservation, because when you hear it from someone who lives in the ocean, it's just more effective and impactful. And so that didn't work out because animatronic dolphins aren't very cheap, nor are they very functional when you put them in salt water, apparently. So then I came up with the alternative idea to put a mermaid in the water. So it's the same idea. The mermaid swims up to the boat, teaches you about ocean conservation and her ocean home. It's just a bit cheaper than an animatronic dolphin. So that's how the whole thing got started, really. It was founded on education.
I am Rick, and I am the co-founder of the Mermaid of Hilton Head. I run the business side of things and the day-to-day operations. So the idea for the Mermaid of Hilton Head came from Nina, and it started with a children's book, Sammy the Sand Dollar, and seeing that people reacted well to the message in the book. And then when we were evacuated for Hurricane Matthew, she wrote the book Mermaid of Hilton Head, which is about the sea turtles. And when we came back from the hurricane evacuation, she came up with the idea of bringing that book to life to help spread the message about ocean conservation. The company has grown significantly. When we started, it was just Nina and myself. The first summer, we brought on one person. And this year, we're up to around 20 people. So there's a lot of things that have changed and grown over the years.
Okay, so I have an idea. Oh God.
Okay. Nina's the creative, the creative brain, the one that comes up with the ideas. It's my job to make them happen.
We have Sammy, the Sand Dollar, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the first book. He's kind of important. And then we have the Mermaid Tour, right? With no Sammy. So I think we should combine them.
How?
So I think maybe we should add a TV to the boat, and maybe I can bring Sammy to life.
Did you fight Nina on the whole mermaid thing?
I want to know her answer. So Nina came up with the idea for the business, and the boat tours were one of those things that when I heard the idea, It was a good enough idea that, okay, I think this could work. I think it will be amazing if we can make things work. The photography, on the other hand, I didn't think anyone wanted to become a mermaid. And I fought her on that for a good 6 months before I gave in. And now we're doing, 2 to 4 shoots a night. So obviously I was wrong on that front. But the boat tours was one of those things that it's a unique enough idea that, if we can make it work and do it safely, then I think it would be successful.
So animation would be involved. Like I would animate Sammy, and he'd be on the boat. So it's not just him on the TV, it would be him interacting with Pinky Plankton. Like he's alive, like he's a real sand dollar.
Well, he's a sand dollar.
He is a sand dollar, but he's a real sand dollar, and he's going to inspire people to not kill sand dollars.
Yeah, so Sammy was my very first children's book, and what happened was when Rick and I first moved down here, we would have beach days back when we didn't work all the time. And during those beach days, it was very common for us to see people taking sand dollars from the beach. And it was frustrating because they were living sand dollars. So I went to talk to these people and just tell them, that they're living sand dollars and it's illegal to take them. And usually the response was they either just ignored me and I couldn't break through anyway, I tried, or they would get defensive and be angry and say mean things. So obviously it wasn't worth the time and effort to try to educate these people when you catch them in the act. So it's more productive to educate them prior to them committing this act. So there was one night I stayed up all night and wrote a children's book about Sammy the Sand Dollar. And so once that was published, which was also quite a process, it was very well received locally, and it was also received well along coastal towns. So we had, Florida, Georgia, regions that were really interested in it. And once I saw the interest in Sammy, I started thinking how we could grow this message. And that's when we started coming up with ideas like boat tours, more books, things to try to expand what we had and what we saw was popular and what we saw was working. So our company isn't just boat tours. Boat tours are kind of what we're known for, but our company is also, there are arms. It's kind of like an octopus. So we have the mermaid photography, which is where we turn people into mermaids on the beach. Super fun. Everyone loves it, adults, kids, everybody. And then we also have the children's books, which are a business all on their own because they're so much fun. But then we also have our retail, so which is a whole other thing. So we make our own shirts. We have like a shirt factory. We publish our own books. We make our own starfish hair clips. Kind of a little bit of everything. So, and keeping everything in stock. And we have our online store, we have our store at the marina, and we're starting to expand to wholesale. So that in itself is a whole other animal. Another thing that we offer are free services for our guests. So one of them is our education page on our website, which is just another way to try to help people educate their kids about ocean conservation. We came up with it during COVID because during quarantine the kids were out of school, so there was a lot of homeschooling, and I know there were a lot of parents who were kind of losing it and getting very nervous, wondering if they could do this or not. So it's kind of to help the parents with homeschooling, but it's pretty enriching for kids too, just because of the way that it's presented. So one of the things on the education page is a video series with Pinky Plankton, who's an animated character, and she kind of takes the kids through different animals and wildlife and teaches them about them, just about their general anatomy, things like that. And then she also teaches them what is threatening them and different ways that they can help protect them. So it's a fun way to learn, and it's free, which is also fun for parents. And I think, when kids' minds are like sponges like that, they just need something like that to kind of keep them intrigued and passionate about our message.
Okay, so how would the interaction between the animation and the maid work?
Right, so that's my next question.
How long is the interaction between the Pinky and the sand dollar?
It depends on what the sand dollar is saying.
Well, like, could it just be a video with pauses? And it just, you hit play
I
and
think
it runs?
if you do a video with pauses, then we don't know how long Pinky Plankton is going to take to respond.
Okay, so someone physically has to turn it on and turn it off.
Yes, I think that would be the best solution.
So it couldn't be like a video where you just play it for the tour.
No,
Because it's going to be there's going to be different interactions.
Right. No tour, there's not a single tour that's the same.
How much?
So, at a different speed, too.
Right, and so if you find dolphins at one point, you have to
Like,
be able to accommodate for
Is it
that.
just going to be, okay, you're out on the tour, you find dolphins, and then you play this 2-minute video with the interaction with the sand dollar?
Sammy's going to be there
how?
the entire time. I'm seeing it that way. So Sammy's there the entire time, it's just
How many times?
when he's interacting.
How many times does he interact?
I have to write it, I don't know.
We'll just guess.
5, 6,
Okay,
10.
so like a lot. Okay, so how do we get that to happen?
That's why we're here. So
Okay.
you have to figure out the electricity part.
Well, we'll look into.
You have to figure out the digital part.
Okay.
I have to learn animation.
So we'll look into generators and
What am I
talk.
here?
We'll talk to the.
You're here to keep us sane.
Sammy happened first, and then so Sammy happened in the spring or summer of 2016. And then Hurricane Matthew hit in October, I believe, of 2016. And when we were evacuated for Hurricane Matthew, I was bored and also super stressed out because I didn't know if I'd have a house to come back to. So I was locked up in the hotel room and I just wrote a book to keep my mind off of things. And the book was The Mermaid of Hilton Head. And the reason that book came about was because of the sea turtles and the lights for the sea turtles. So then when we were thinking about tours and things that we could do to try to educate people, the mermaid idea was kind of already on the table because of the book. So then it all just kind of came together and created what it is today.
So that's fine.
Before we
And
move on
then-
with this, do you think, everybody here, do you guys think that it would add to the guest experience?
I think it'd be more magical.
Okay.
Like, and it also brings in more characters. Like if
Right.
Pinky
Well,
and
I
you have-
want to involve Sammy because well, he's cute. He's adorable. But also because then also if I don't have to talk about sand dollars during my speech, that opens me up to talk about other issues.
So I originally went to school for psychology with the idea that it would help with animal behavior. However, some of the things I learned in school are actually becoming more and more relevant with the way that I educate. So, you know, when you look at the human brain and how it interprets certain things, I can kind of tailor my education and the way that I present things, especially with kids, to try to make the biggest impact I possibly can with them.
And then we're covering more material.
Well, I think Sammy can help keep everything more consistent as well. Because every tour is different.
Right.
But if Sammy's part is consistently, it's going to be the
So
same on every
Sammy
tour.
can also help the Pinky Planktons because he's going to, well, I'm envisioning him interrupting them. So like if there's a pause for whatever reason, a Pinky Plankton can, if we're able to get this to work the way I want it, can control it so that Sammy interrupts her. And then you're back on track. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we want to cram as much fun. Like, we want the full 75 minutes to be intense. Like,
Yes.
fun. Like, we don't want any down points where you're like,
Yes.
Like, yeah, you want to enjoy the boat ride, but people are coming for the experience. Which we've got that a lot.
Yeah.
But there's still, I mean, with this, it would fill in any of that downtime and would kind of take things to the next level.
Yes.
As far as the animation stuff goes, is that doable? Why don't you look into the animation standpoint of things?
So I need an answer on the electric and if it can be done.
The electric
Before I start learning animation, because I feel like
the electric can be done.
animation's going to be a bit time consuming.
The electric can be done.
Okay.
If you can animate it, go ahead and look into that. And we'll look into generators.
Okay.
And then we just need to come up with a missing piece of the puzzle of how Sammy's operated.
Okay. So I will start learning animation.